Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our series of webinars. Today we're talking about how to get that job. First, a little bit about me. My name's Ron Brown. I've over 30 years experience in recruitment, retail, hospitality, sales and marketing, and for the last 5 years in particular I've focused on Plus 40, working to encourage employers across Australia to recognise the value and experience resident in our mature age workers. That's people over the age of 40, hence the name of the company, Plus 40. Okay, so let's talk about step one. Most important thing is to follow multiple avenues. What do I mean by multiple avenues? You need to have more than one way of trying to find work. Obviously, Plus 40 is one of the organisations you should register with when you're over 40 to try and find employment. Excuse me. It's critically important that you also register with other private and job services consultants. If you're unemployed and on unemployment benefits, the job services consultants will be your #1 port of call. However, private recruitment consultants can also assist you, depending on which industry or profession you're involved in. There are often key industry recruitment consultants in engineering or trades that you can register with that will help find you work and have the bulk of work in those areas. You're using modern technology to listen to this webinar, so equally you need to use that modern technology to find jobs. Internet websites like Seek, My Career and Career One are obvious options for you to review. They are effectively electronic newspapers, and many employers will often take the opportunity to just advertise their jobs on Seek, Career One or My Career, rather than going to recruitment consultants to help them find their candidates. So it's important to make sure that you sign up for a job mail or use the RSS feeds, which are explained on each website, to get new jobs coming through, sent to your email and given you a flag straight away when they're posted. Local newspapers are also a great opportunity. Many mature age workers like to work close to home, and therefore local newspapers are a great source for local employment. Often the newspapers, which are owned by Fairfax and News Limited, are also tied in with Career One and My Career, and so job ads that appear in the local papers may also appear on Career One and My Career. However, the local papers are something that you should also keep an eye on. Network. What do I mean by network? Use the network of contacts that you have in your local community. If you're going to soccer matches with your children's local soccer club, if you're a member of a church group, if you are in a tennis club, whatever your local networks are, social and otherwise, utilise those. Let people know that you're looking for work and what type of work you're looking for. You never know who knows who, and who might be able to hook you up with somebody that can offer you some form of viable employment. So make sure you use all the networks available to you. And finally, volunteering. Volunteering is a great idea too, particularly if you've been unemployed for a while. It has a couple of benefits. Firstly, it allows you to refresh your skills and get back into the workplace and get used to doing day-to-day work, or even if it's only part-time. Secondly, it exposes you to people who do have full-time jobs, who also volunteer, who may also decide that you have the right skill set, personality to fit into their organisation, and they can offer you a job. So it's critically important that you look at those 6 avenues of endeavour when trying to find yourself some work. Okay, let's look at step number 2. Next most important thing in your job search is your resume. This is the introductory letter that you're literally sending out to every prospective employer, and it needs to be the right size and the right content. Resumes you should try to limit to no more than 4 A4 pages of information. Anything more than that and your resume tends to go straight to the bottom of the pile. What do you need to include? Obviously your personal details. It is against the law to discriminate on age, so many recruitment consultants encourage people to leave their age or their date of birth off the resume that they send through. I'm equivocal about this because the minute you walk through the door, the employer or even recruitment consultant will be able to gauge roughly what your age is. So I personally have never taken my age or date of birth off a resume that I've submitted. However, I would encourage you to make that decision on your own. Obviously, contact details and where you're residing are important in those details. Your educational background, and by this we mean, depending on the level of education you've achieved, school, high school, college or university, And those are the types of things we're looking for in terms of educational background when you've gone to full-time or part-time study with an educational institution. Your employment history. This is obviously the most critical part. In today's society, most traditional recruitment consultants encourage people to focus on only the last 5 years on their resume because that's all an employer is interested in, what you've done in the last 5 years and where you're going to from there. At Plus 40, we're the heretics in the industry, and we believe that as mature age workers, everything you've ever done in your work career comes with you to any role that you take on. So how do we put all that information into just 4 pages of a resume? Focus in detail on the last 3 to 5 years of work, and then by bullet point listings, list all the other jobs you've held. So for instance, put the title of the job, the company you've worked for, and the period of time. For example, the title of the job might be Recruitment Director, the company is Plus 40, and the period of time is 1995 to 2000. So that sort of example will pique the employer's interest, and they can then ask you about more detail if they want it when they contact you or bring you in for an interview. Courses completed. These relate to courses that you might do on the job. So things like first aid, occupational health and safety induction courses, customer service training that might be provided by your company that are not necessarily delivered at university, TAFE, or by a registered training organisation. But these are all courses that you've completed that add to your skill set from your employer's point of view. Special interests. Here it's important to give people an idea of who you are as an individual. So special interests might include your children, it might be gardening, it might be V8 supercar motor races, it might be hang gliding, it could be any number of things, golf, tennis, all the various different sporting pursuits. It could be music, books, art, movies. Whatever your special interests are, list them in this particular section of your resume so that people get a feel for the person that you are and how you might fit into the culture of their work environment. If you've got any other specific skills and qualifications, and quite often here many people will be involved in running clubs or coaching sports teams, things like that, and you have skills and possibly even qualifications that relate to those extracurricular activities that are not directly related to your job or your vocation. But you should list those because these are again qualities that enhance you as a potential candidate for a particular role. Quite often if somebody sees that you're the secretary of the local church group or the treasurer of the local Boy Scouts troop, then they know that you've got other skills in terms of organisation, bookkeeping and so on that can assist in the role that they want to bring you on. So it's important to list those other skills and qualifications. Again, don't write War and Peace, we just need bullet points because we don't want to go beyond 4 pages with all this information. Finally, referees. My advice is to put a note at the bottom of your resume that says referees are available upon request, and take the referee's details with you to interview. Do not divulge referees to anybody prior to them having had an interview with you and indicating that they would like to move to the next step and would therefore like to do reference checking. That is the appropriate time to give an employer or a prospective employer your referee's details. Do not provide them up front. Okay, the last thing you want is a referee being called before you've even had contact from an employer or had an interview with them. So make sure that you keep that information to yourself till they're ready to move forward beyond that step.